Hi everyone, welcome to Newbury, welcome back to Newbury. It is Whirlpool Lockinge Day, full 8-race card with the Group 1 Lockinge Stakes as the feature. But this is a spectacular day all round. We start with the Aston Park Stakes. It's 2,400 metres, mile and a half in all money. It's Group 3 and it's very tightly knit. Down the card, the evergreen Al Arsi looks as good as ever. Courage Mon Ami stays forever. Back from a long break, former Ascot Gold Cup winner. El Cordobés seems on the up for Godolphin. King's Gambit, different types of headgear being tried. And Ryan Moore on board. Sunway and Table Talk both ran pretty well here at Newbury a couple of weeks ago. Welcome to John Blance.
Thank you.
John Blance, this is tricky, but Al Arsi is the natural starting point. Good record at Newbury. Good record, full stop.
Yeah, fantastic record at Newbury. The only blot on his copybook here at this track was on really heavy ground. He won this race 4 years ago. Interestingly as well, this race always seems to sort of turn into a sit sprint, which suits his style of running well. He had a sit sprint at Sandown the other day, proved him to be in absolutely rude health. He's got the penalty to carry, but he's going to be difficult to beat.
Yeah, he beat pretty good horses at Sandown, and he quickened up well. John's touched on that turn of foot. It is his key asset. Does pick up a slight penalty, £3 penalty for that, but he's bang in the mix. Now, John, I'm going to throw this King's Gambit to you. Last summer, he looked a rampantly progressive horse. This time last year, he won a very good handicap at Newbury in tremendous style. I'm not quite sure he's gone on with it. What did you make of his good performance at York in August, and what do you make of him since?
Well, it was a fantastic performance at York, no doubt about it. I mean, the Voltager was often sort of marketed as a Leger trial. It was way better than this year's Leger because Los Angeles and Illinois were the horses that finished in front. They franked the form this season as well. King's Gambit did really well to get within touching distance of them. The form at Ascot, he was a bit wide on the track. It was soft going that day, happy to forgive that. And obviously had that run in Qatar as well behind Rebel's Romance. But Rebel's Romance is one of the best middle distance horses in the world. So I think King's Gambit is definitely coming into calculations here. Whether he can beat Al Arsi, though, is a moot point.
Ryan Moore ensures that he's going to have plenty of support. Just factor in a couple of things here. He had cheek pieces on in Qatar, King's Gambit. Limited zip about that performance. He's got blinkers on this time. He's also been gelded. So they've thrown the full set of changes of equipment on this fella. If he's at his best, he's got a great chance. Now, talk to me about Table Talk and Sunway, who both ran respectably in a Group 3 race here a couple of weeks ago. Sunway, perhaps he just needed the race?
I think he possibly did. He might need further in time as well. And, of course, Table Talk is a Melrose winner from last year over 1 mile and 6. So I think they're both, well, in Sunway's case, going to need further over time. I think Table Talk might be a bit one pace compared to the top two here in the list. But I've got them both in to sort of take minor roles, but I don't think beating Al Arsi or King's Gambit is going to be what they're up to on Saturday afternoon.
He's 8, Al Arsi, but I suspect we both like him. Wrap up this Aston Park Stakes, John. Could be tactical.
I think it'd be very tactical, yeah. There's not a huge amount of pace in it, which suits Al Arsi down to the ground. He's funny, he's never really cut at a Group 1 level, but at Group 2 level, he can pass quickening horses very easily. So he goes in for me. That Sandown run is key. King's Gambit in for second, and then for third and fourth, I'm going to go Table Talk over Sunway. So 1, 5, 8 and 7.
Yeah, I think we agree on the most likely winner here. I'm playing it safe with a horse with a great Newbury record and a good turn of foot. Al Arsi on top for me. 1, 7, 3 and 8 in the first of 8 at Newbury on Lockinge Day. Race 2 at Newbury this Saturday is the Cunningham and Stakes, 1,200 metres, 3-year-olds. Generally a very strong trial for Royal Ascot races like the Commonwealth Cup. It's been won by good horses, a few good ones in this time around. Number 2, Berkshire Whisper, is thriving, won a very valuable handicap at Newcastle. Caburn, number 3, he won the Super Sprint here last summer. Further down the card, 5, Ides of March, beware him. He looks a potential class act here. And further down, Strong Warrior, 2 from 2. Richard Fahy throws him in deep. And one other we should mention, Saida Darian, who showed much improved form on the all-weather at Chelmsford last time. Let's start with Berkshire Whisper, John. He only started racing early this year, but since then, he's gone from strength to strength. That Newcastle win, a strong one.
Very good, yeah. Good handicap on all-weather finals day. Came out of maiden and novice company to do that. Owned locally, trained locally by Andrew Balding would be a great story. If there's a really strong gallop on, that will definitely help Berkshire Whisper. I think it's still got a little bit more defined in terms of the form in the book at the moment.
Another lightly raced horse is Saida Darian. Bit of a commentator's tongue twister. She's only run 4 times, and last time at Chelmsford, she showed marked improvement in form.
She certainly did. Really good gate speed as well, which will stand her in good stead here. There's going to be a bit more pace on than there was in this race at Chelmsford, but she still managed to come home very well, beating Mr. Lightside, who's a pretty good form yardstick as well. So there's a lot to like about it. Like I said, she's going to be taking on, I think, out in front. She goes in on a minor line, not quite on top.
Okay, here we go. I think the best bet of the day comes in this race. It's an Irish colt, big, strong, muscular horse who's getting better all the time. His name is Ides of March. It's Aidan. It's Ryan. So the price will reflect that. But this horse has some really good form, John. He bolted up in his maiden. He missed the break in the Breeders' Cup, got in a bad position. But it's his performance first time out this season in Ireland when he chased home highly qualified stablemate Whistle Jacket that stamps him as a strong runner here.
Certainly does. Whistle Jacket was engaged here, but unfortunately taken out. It would have been great to see him. Ides of March was probably a little bit flattered by that form of the Whistle Jacket. Whistle Jacket picked him up in the closing stages of a relatively softly run race out in front. But I still think in terms of the back class from last year, this is the horse they've all got to beat. And the point you make is a very pertinent one, though. Ryan Moore, Aidan O'Brien, you ain't going to be getting much value in the World Pool.
I don't think he was flattered in any way. In fact, if anything, I think Whistle Jacket was slightly flattered. The ground was on the soft side. Aidan is absolutely adamant that Ides of March will be better on fast ground. I agree with that view. Let's round up this Cunningham Stakes, John. We like the same horse here, don't we?
Yep, Ides of March on top. Happy to go with that. Caburn's interesting, of course, winner of the Weatherby Super Sprint last year. Ran a really good race at York subsequently in the Gym Crack. And then, yes, it was a disappointing effort in that big sales race at Doncaster, but don't rule this one out at all. Strong Gallop will definitely suit. Goes in for second. Saida Diran in for third. Symbol of Honour looked as though probably wants a bit further on the basis of that Newmarket run, but there will be a lot of pace up here. I think this one will stay on too.
5, 9, 2, 11, but 5, 5, and then 5 again. Beware the Ides of March in the Cunningham Stakes. Race 3 at Newbury, handicap, London Gold Cup, 2,000 metres, 3-year-olds. A rich, rich tradition. Lots of Group 2, even Group 1 winners have come out of this race. Do we have a similar candidate this time? Not so sure, but let's go down them. Nebras has pretty useful form, but he also has a big weight. As a result, Sadad is well bred and on the upgrade. Ernst Blofeld was behind Nebras at Newmarket, but may have had an excuse. Wave Rider. Harry Charlton won this race last year. Wave Rider has a hood first time, and he's progressive. Circus of Rome for Richard Hughes and David Probert. And John Blance at the bottom, a horse you like the look of, Lightning Man. Take me through his Newmarket win.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good effort. I mean, there'll be quite a lot of progressive horses in this race, and Lightning Man might not be one of them, but does have a lightweight. That Newmarket run was really good. They went a strong gallop the whole way. He was in the tough part of the race the whole way as well, and he battled really strongly to win. So I like this horse. Gate 10 is absolutely not ideal, but then again, if you go back through previous runnings of this race, plenty of winners have overcome a wide draw around that bend. But yeah, I think he offers a bit of value in a race where there might be quite a few that are a bit too short.
Yeah, I take the view that there might not be a real Group 1 contender in this race. So the lower weighted horses are worth considering. Let's move on from that horse to a Newmarket race. Nebras and Ernst Blofeld both got in the money. They ran different types of races. I know you perhaps like Nebras a bit more than the Blofeld.
Well, very well related, Nebras, of course, half brother to Nashwa. And I thought it was a bit green. If you watch the replay, sort of hanging around a bit down the dip, which young horses can do at Newmarket. So it's not the end of the world, and we'll have learnt from that. Got plenty of talent, quite a big weight to carry here. Gate 5, though, should be a good draw, and there's going to be a bit of pace in this race. So I think Nebras definitely in the numbers. This is one of the horses who could well progress very nicely, but maybe not on Saturday afternoon to actually win.
I'll make the case for Ernst Blofeld improving. Some horses just get lost in that dip at Newmarket when the ground is on top. He did. He was just going sideways and wasn't sure what was expected. Prior to that, he looked a really strong galloper, and I think he's got a good chance here. Any more to look at? Well, Sadad represents high-class connections. He's got a good pedigree, and he ran well here at Newbury. How good is that for you?
I think it's pretty solid in the context of this, and obviously you know that he can handle the 10 furlongs round the bend here, so the course and distance form is all there. De Souza aboard for Roger Varian. Again, another horse who could have loads of improvement. We just don't quite know. Again, sneaked in, but not on top.
Okay, wrap this London Gold Cup. I think we take a slightly similar view in that we're looking for value behind the ones at the top with the flash pedigree.
Well, if you're going to tell me who's the most likely winner of the race, I wouldn't know for sure, but I think Lightning Man is going to be value. So I've got that one on top. Going to have Nebras in there for second. Genealogy for the Coolmore team, of course, Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore. Fifth behind Delacroix last season. That form has been polished very well, no doubt about that. And Sadad in for fourth. But yeah, I think a bit of value is required here. So Lightning Man for me.
I'm going 7, 4, 9, 10. A horse we haven't touched on just yet. We need to. His name is Wave Rider. He's trained by Harry Charlton, who saddled the winner of this race last year. He's gone 4, 3, 2. The second was at Wolverhampton, coming home really, really strongly last time. I think it's a pretty good form race, that, and he's definitely bred to relish this step up to 2,000 metres. He's also got a hood on for the first time, so he needs to relax. But I'm going to take a chance with Wave Rider. It's an open race. Good luck to John's selection. My numbers 7, 4, 9 and 10 in the London Gold Cup. Welcome back to Newbury. It's big race time. It's the Lockinge Stakes. 4-year-olds and upwards, Group 1, straight miles, 1,600 metres. Godolphin have a great record. The Hannon family have a great record. They're both represented. Let's have a look at the 9-strong field. Dancing Gemini has gone from strength to strength with 2 wins this spring. Lead Artist ran badly behind Dancing Gemini at Sandown. Notable Speech, 2 major wins in the 2,000 Guineas and the Sussex Stakes last year for Godolphin. Persica for Richard Hannon, but also further down the card, number 7, Resalian for Richard Hannon Jr. He's been off a long time after a slight setback last year, but he looks a world-class miler. Fallen Angel is a classic winner in the Irish 1,000 Guineas, and Tamfana is another Group 1 winning filly. All sorts of options here, John, but let's start. Just over a year ago, Newmarket, Straight Mile, Notable Speech and Resalian, round 1. Take us through this.
Yeah, it was an incredible race, really. They went very, very hard up front. And Notable Speech, who'd come to it with just a couple of wins on the all-weather, got a beautiful ride, a long way off that pace, came through to win. Resalian ran really well, though, if he's really getting to the bones of the sectional times there. And they went on to prove that, of course, at the Curragh subsequently. So if the two obviously are going up against each other on Saturday afternoon, I'd definitely be Resalian over Notable Speech.
Ding Ding, round 2, came at Royal Ascot last June for the St James's Palace Stakes, and Notable Speech, for whatever reason, did not shine, did not run his race. But Resalian did, and he pounced on Henry Longfellow in the home straight. Yeah,
Henry Longfellow didn't necessarily turn out to be as good as we thought, but it was still a tremendous performance from Resalian. And yeah, Notable Speech, no one could put their finger on why the horse had run so badly, but it was a very disappointing effort. He's a bit in and out for me, Notable Speech. He's had 1 or 2 other races which he, for me, should have done better in. So,
well, let's concentrate on one race where he did excel.
Yeah,
I don't think last year's Sussex Stakes was the best Sussex Stakes ever run, but he got fast ground, which seems key to Notable Speech. And in the context of that race, he showed that striking turn of foot again.
He did, and he'd got a lovely position as well, beautifully ridden. And yeah, I think Goodwood really suited his skill set. But yeah, I thought the Breeders' Cup run was a bit disappointing. He was in the right part of the track speed-wise, and he was beaten by another deep closer, an American deep closer, who's not as good a horse really on rating. So I think he's been a little bit inconsistent for me. He's clearly very talented, but Resalian didn't miss a beat. Even in the race that he lost, the 2,000 Guineas at Newmarket, it was a really high-quality effort. So I think if he's fit, he's going to take a lot of beating.
And if we look at Hannon winners, senior and junior of this race, horses like Canford Cliffs came back from a long break to win this race first time out. Night of Thunder won it first time out. The template is set. Let's touch on a horse who was good last year. He could be very good this year. This is Dancing Gemini. His trainer, Roger Teal, trains not far away from here. This is the stable star, John.
Yeah.
Let's pick him up at Sandown in the Sandown Mile last time. Now, do bear in mind, the second filly, Tamfana, hadn't had a run, and she also carried a £5 Group 1 penalty. But acceleration is what wins big races. Dancing Gemini showed it.
Yeah, he's definitely, they've decided this horse is a miler. I remember quite fancying him in the Derby, but they're not going to be doing that this year. No middle distances for him. And yeah, you talk about templates. He's taken the exact template that Charin took last year to not win this race, but to sort of improve to a level where he was very strongly fancied for it. And yeah, I think it was a really good effort, certainly at Sandown. And I think has earned the right to run at this level.
His trainer, Roger Teal, says, I know that Richard Hannon thinks Resalian is the apple of his eye, and Dancing Gemini is the apple of my eye. Just hope we've got a bigger apple. This is a fantastic race. We should also mention Fallen Angel, winning filly last season. This is her first time against the boys. Could you make a case for her?
Not necessarily. There's a bit of an asterisk next to that Curragh win because they went very slowly, or she managed to dictate very tepid sectionals in the early part of that race. So she was always going to be difficult to pass under those circumstances. I'll be fascinated to see how she gets on. I think she might be better over slightly further. She's not in the numbers, but that just indicates what a strong race it is.
It is a strong race, John. It's the Lockinge Stakes. Your first score, please.
Resalian. I'll be very interested to see what price he goes off on the World Pool because I think he's a really good thing here. I mean, Dancing Gemini is moving up to that level and will finish second, I think. Notable Speech could win. I mean, if he gets a really strong gallop up front and he's really up for it, he could win. But on the balance of form, he's better. He's not as good as Rosalian and Tamfana in there for 4th.
Sounds like 7-2-4-9 to me, and they're the exact same numbers that I have. Rosalian on top, it should be a memorable Lockinge Stakes. Really tricky puzzle for race 5 at Newbury this Saturday. It's the fillies trial, unexposed horses, well-bred horses, 3-year-olds, over 2,000 metres, flat, even, unbiased track, but lots of horses who could be much better than they've shown thus far. One of the non-quantities is 3, Ecstatic for Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien. Good form last year, didn't shine last time out. Number 4, Like a Lot, looked a really, really useful prospect first time on the all-weather. Further down, number 6, Quilling Queen and San Gazelle, both ran really well at Newmarket in the Pretty Polly Stakes behind a very, very promising filly indeed. And number 9, Winter Song, was beaten under a penalty at Sandown, but that was a tactical race. Last but not least, number 10, Wonder Star. She was very well back to Ascot and won with authority. John, where should we start? Let's start with this filly, Like a Lot. It's a bit of educated guesswork here, but she's got a good pedigree, strong connections, and she won this Chelmsford race in really handsome style.
Well, it was an interesting run. I mean, she's got an Oaks entry. It was a very slowly run race early on. It went sort of 32, 33 miles an hour, which is a dawdle. They came home 111% of average speed, hit at the low 40 mile an hour. So there wasn't much pace on. She was able to dictate. We don't really know enough about her to get too excited about her yet, save for the fact that Rafe Beckett's going really well and has kept this horse in the Oaks as well. So she'd be very, very interesting contender Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, market should be very interesting for her. Let's move on to a couple of fillies with a bit more experience. Now, if Falikea was in this race, she would be a very short price. Quilling Queen and San Gazelle ran 2nd and 3rd to that filly in the Pretty Polly. I know you like Quilling Queen, and I think with good reason.
Well, yeah, this is in stark contrast to that Chelmsford race that we saw. This was a properly run race. They came home 97% or 98% of the average speed, so they were going at it from a long way out. As you say, the Falikea form is pretty strong. Go back to this Quilling Queen's form of the race prior to that. Second behind a horse called Luther, who ran extremely well in the French 2000 Guineas at the weekend. So the form's looking good for Quilling Queen. You know that she can handle a properly run race. So I think she's a sort of a percentage call here.
Yeah, I think she'll run well too. Let's move on to the Godolphin filly. Godolphin have a pretty good record in this. And Winter Song was pretty good first time out. Second time out, she had the penalty. I think she got caught out in a tactical race at Sandown, John.
Yeah, well, she beat a horse called Tattycoram on debut at Yarmouth. I was there, but then was beaten by the same horse in that extremely tactical race, where again they went extremely slowly early doors and absolutely sprinted home. That was 114%, Graham, so they're really worth flying home. So Winter Song, it's no great disgrace not being able to pass that horse in the closing stages. So again, on the basis of that Yarmouth effort, I've got her in the numbers. I think, like a lot of these, she's very promising with lots of upside.
It could mean something, it could mean not a lot. But Tattycoram, the Sandown winner, was well beaten when she went up in class at York on Wednesday. This is one of the toughest puzzles on the card, John. Have we missed anything, or have you got a firm idea of which way you'd like to go?
Well, we could easily have missed something because, as I say, there are horses with 1 run and 2 runs, so it's not necessarily an easy race to sort out. But I'm going to go with Quilling Queen on top. I think it's got a very, very good chance. Ecstatic, though, is interesting because if you go back to 2 runs ago at the Curragh back end of last season, very strong effort. Not so good at Navan this time round, first up this season. That was on a soft surface, though, so better track for it today. But yeah, I do like Quilling Queen at a price.
Keep an eye on Wonder Star. She didn't show a massive amount first time out as a 2-year-old, but she was backed like a big improver on Ascot, and she bolted up, and she represents Haggis and Marquand. So she's in my numbers with no great confidence here. This is a very complex puzzle. I'm going to go 4, 6, 10, and 8 in the fillies trial. Good luck. Back to Newbury, race 6 of 8 this Saturday. The Hong Kong Jockey Club Handicap. It's 1,200-metre sprint handicap for older horses. Some old favourites in, strong market assured. Let's have a look at a few of these. Cover Up has been a money spinner in the last few weeks. Orazio has been a money burner. He's been favourite for so many big races and disappointed more often than not. Have a look at number 4. Nothing random about completely random. He is a sprinter on the up with some very strong form credentials. El Monjed won a good sprint handicap at the Ebor Festival last year. Indian Run ran pretty well at Newmarket, but he was behind Run Bar Run, who in turn was behind Aram Ram. Let's start with that key galloping form guide. It's Newmarket, it's 1,200 metres. It's a very similar race to this one. Aram Ram ran really well. Run Boy Run, likewise. Indian Run, not too far behind. Probably ounces rather than pounds between this lot.
Yeah, he was very unlucky, Ram Ram. He was going to win that race until like the final half stride when Dream Thunder got up to nab him on the line. He's got effortless gate speed, this horse. Travelled really strongly throughout. Does have quite a worrying set of twos next to his name. A bit like Apollo 1 from last year. Regular viewers will know about that one. But I'm sure there's a big race in this horse somewhere, and it may well be on Saturday afternoon. Up £3, but I don't think that's a huge problem.
Yeah, I finally jumped off the Aram Ram train, so you know what happens now. I'm sure he'll run well. He's in a second on mine, but he's behind a horse called Completely Random. And if you don't mind, John, I'll take this one. This is a real improver. He's 3 from 9. His Leicester win last time. When you have a look at it, look at the visual, held up, ridden for a turn of foot, produced it really well on top in the closing stages. And look what's happened since. The 2nd and the 5th have both run well. And Rousing Encore went on to York yesterday and won one of the most competitive sprint handicaps of the season. So I think a £6 rise for what Completely Random did there is very, very fair indeed. He gets my number 1 vote. Let's go back to August last year. Ebor Festival, El Monjed was very well back for this big handicap and delivered.
Certainly did. I mean, again, if you're a regular Whirlpool viewer, you'll know that the far side, as we look at it at York, is favoured in those sprint races. So El Monjed was well drawn on that occasion, but still had to do it against some very, very good horses. Ran well at Newmarket at the Craven meeting behind Dream Thunder, a lot of the other horses that are reopposing here today. So yeah, it goes in the numbers, not quite on top, but a thoroughly likeable horse.
El Monjed was a length and a half, I think, behind a Ram Ram in that Newmarket race, but should come on for it. It's wide open, John. We're going slightly different here. I know you like the look of a Ram Ram with good reason to think.
Yeah, I think he's going to win one of these races sooner rather than later. There might not be a huge amount of pace opposition up front as well for him, so I think that will definitely help. Completely Random. Love the way he was smothered into that race at Leicester that you talked about. Run Boy Run ran well behind a Ram Ram on Guinea's Day. Some really good Whirlpool form already. And El Monjed in there for 4th, so a 10, 4, 9 and 6.
Shame on anyone who suggests my selections are completely random, except for in this race. Completely Random is on top with a Ram Ram. The top 4, 4, 10, 9, 6, in what looks a gettable sprint handicap. Race 7 of 8 at Newbury this weekend is a Class 2 handicap. It's the straight mile, 1,600 metres for older horses, and we've got a few improvers and a few old faces. The old faces are at the top of the weights. Ancient Rome is very good when in the mood. Witch Hunter likewise. Crown Board didn't really shine first time this season. Epictetus has changed yards after going off the boil. English Show was thriving last summer. He's wilted a bit in the last couple of runs. Further down, EBT's Guard has very strong Newbury form. Hello, 8 My Cloud, bred to be better than a handicapper, and looked it when bolting up at Ascot. Classic and Boyfriend give the Hannon stable a strong hand. And further down, we've got Dutch Decoy, whose handicap mark keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. There's only one place to start. It's Ascot on Trials Day a couple of weeks ago. Tell me about My Cloud's pedigree and then go into his performance, John Blance.
Yeah, well, half-brother to Palace Pier, of course, won the big race, the Lockinge here a few years back. So there's a lot to like about that. And there's a lot to like about what this horse has done so far. In a short career, has shown versatility to run well in a strongly run race off the speed and also dictate terms in a race where there wasn't much pace on. I think he'll be ridden with a bit of conservatism here. There are 1 or 2 that have got very strong chances as well. But again, might not necessarily have the potential upside. So this could be a horse going places. Not quite on top for me, but a very good chance.
I think he's going to be a very short price and it's going to take a power of beating. Hard to be any more impressive than he was at Ascot. Now, we touched on Richard Hannon having a pretty strong hand here. Let's go back to the Newbury Spring Cup, which was run on the Ram course this year. EBT's Guard won it, showed plenty of grit, didn't really shine at Ascot last week. Classic definitely caught the eye, running really well. Which of the pair do you like?
I quite like Classic. I mean, if EBT's Guard shows up like he did on this piece of VT, he's got to enter the calculations as well. But he was a bit disappointing subsequently. Interesting they decided to come out again. I'm slightly concerned about that horse. But yeah, I think the straight mile, and must be stressed, we're on the straight mile here and not the round mile for the VT. I think Classic, who was held up on that occasion, came home really strongly, can be in the numbers.
Boyfriend, his 1 win from 7 runs was here in 2023 when he got the better of EBT's Guard. We've got to go back, way back to last spring at Goodwood. He was unlucky, John, wasn't he, when we pick him up in the red colours, finding no room?
Yeah, I thought this was a really tremendous performance for lots of reasons. Goodwood is not necessarily a place for hold-up horses to come, especially off not a particularly strong pace where they're accelerating down that hill. And he didn't win. But goodness me, he had given another stride or two, and he absolutely devoured the ground in the final sort of 50 yards. So I think straight mile here, yes, there's the layoff to worry about, but he should be fit. And I've got a lot of faith that this horse will run a good race.
Slightly surprised you haven't gone for what I consider one of the strongest handicap chances of the day, but just round up this mile handicap with your numbers, John.
I'm going to go with Boyfriend on top. As I say, the absence does concern me a little bit. Witch Hunter's very interesting. Third in the Lockinge last year. He's a Hungerford Stakes winner. Couple of not very good runs thus far this season, but he ran one of the Lockinge third up last season as well. He loves this place, straight tracks. He goes in there for second. Got the 8 in for third and the 9 in for fourth, My Cloud, and Classic as well.
I know you like a plot angle, John. I think I've found one here. The cut-off rating for the Royal Hunt Cup at Royal Ascot last year was 92. This My Cloud is only rated 90 at present. Okay. He needs to run again and show a bit more improvement to get into the Ascot race. I think he will. He was mighty impressive at Ascot. I think he's got all the makings of a good horse. 8, 9, 10, 7, My Cloud, firmly on top in race 7. Big Whirlpool Day at Newbury this weekend. Only fitting then that we should sign off with the Whirlpool handicap. 3-year-olds this time. Again, the straight 1,600 metres. No tricks, no bias about a track like this. Plenty of room to find your gaps. Let's have a look at this field. Roman Centurion, lightly raced. A winner recently. Nakib, very lightly raced. Made pretty hard work of it at Doncaster, but maybe he was up against a useful horse. Further down, Rogue Diplomat is a horse I've got time for, but he does have a bit of work to do against a couple of old rivals from Newmarket. Shameful. He could be well handicapped here. I think he ran up against a very good horse at Kempton last time. Further down the field, Solar Army ran really well. Not quite well enough at Newmarket on Guinea's Day. And another one down at the bottom is Happy Banner, who should come on for his first run of the season. But John, let's pick up on the first galloping clue here, and it involves 3 runners. Just take me through this similar race at Newmarket and why you like Solar Army to come out the best of the 3.
Well, I've got a bit of an angle here. I know you like an angle, Graham. 3-year-old handicaps, there's always a lot of pace on, certainly in races like the Sandringham and the Britannia Stakes at Ascot. There's plenty of pace engaged here. I think Solar Army would be really suited by that. Already exhibits a nice cruising speed in sort of mid-division. Plenty of professionalism, stayed on really well. To use a Hong Kong parlance, Ryan Moore has rung up for the ride. Not many Ryan Moore, Roger Teal combinations. So I think that's very significant as well. He's going to get the perfect race set up and will be staying on very strongly.
I'm tipping it's Tony Hind, his agent, rather than Ryan himself. If Ryan himself rang up, I would want to back that horse. Keep an eye on the horse you saw in the red colours there, just fading late, called Rogue Diplomat. I thought he was wide with no cover and raced a bit too freely. I would give him a fair chance of getting into the mix this time around. Let's pick up on a different form line. Well-bred, promising profile, short price at Doncaster Nakib. He had to work pretty hard, but it could be that he's pretty well handicapped for marking the 80.
I think he is, and there's definitely lots of upside to him. As I say, my problem is that he's going to go forward. Transparent probably will as well. Shameful, hyperchromatic, and Gile we saw in that Newmarket form as well, races pretty prominently. So I think they're going to set it up for something sort of mid-division or even further back, and that might be the problem with Nakib.
Now, I think there might be a horse who's crept under the handicapper's radar here. Like the raced horses, the handicapper is making educated guesses. This horse, trained by Clive Cox, Shameful, he won well at Newbury in the autumn of his 2-year-old season. He came back at Kempton behind a very, very promising Andrew Balding horse, and he did his best and came well clear of the remainder, but he wasn't quite good enough against a potential group race horse, a horse who ran really well at Newmarket and listed company last week. So Shameful is the one for me, John. But your top 4 for the nightcap?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with Solar Army on top as they get the perfect race set up. Of the front runners, I think Gile will go very well. I've got Shameful in there for third. It was beaten at 8-11, initially disappointing, but as you say, the forms look good subsequently. And Rogue Diplomat, I mean, the point you make about him racing out on a limb there is a strong one at Newmarket. So he's not too far away as well, but I do like Solar Army in this spot.
Good luck with him. Sure he went well, but it's 6, 5, 3 and 10 for me. Shameful might be a fair bit better than the handicapper thinks he is. But however you play race 8 and the entire card on Lockinge Day at Newbury, we wish you the very best.